Empires fell, scrolls burned. But the truth survived, hidden, waiting. Now, through time itself, we uncover what history tried to erase. Truth through time. Faith, history, secrets the world forgot.
Episode 08, Julian's Last Enigma, the Pagan Endgame. In 363 AD, an emperor's blood soaked the Persian sands, his dream of a pagan Rome shattered. Julian the Apostate, a rebel who betrayed his Christian roots, waged a secret war to resurrect the old gods. But was he fighting Christianity's unstoppable rise, or the Roman Empire's iron will? Uncover Julian's Last Enigma, the Pagan Endgame, a mystery that could rewrite history. Don't blink, you'll miss the truth behind Rome's greatest religious showdown. Last week, in episode 07, we explored Julian the Apostate's rise, a Christian prince turned pagan rebel. Missed it? Catch it on platform e.g. x.com or YouTube to get the full story. Today, we unravel his final chapter, a desperate bid to reshape Rome's soul. Will his pagan dream triumph, or will Christianity's tide drown it? Let's dive in. But first, a question. What happens when an empire's gods go to war? Curiosity loop. By the end, you'll know why Julian's failure wasn't just his own, and what it means for history's greatest religious showdown. Part 1. The Religious War of 361 AD. Christianity versus paganism versus empire. Bustling marketplace, temple bells, and distant Christian hymns clashing. Picture this, it's 361 AD. The Roman Empire is a powder keg. Christianity, once a hunted sect, now has churches in every major city, backed by emperors like Constantine. Bishops wield power, and converts are flooding in. But the old gods, Jupiter, Mithras, Apollo, aren't gone. They linger in rural shrines, elite academies, and soldiers' rituals. Paganism is a mosaic of beliefs, from bloody sacrifices to mystical philosophies. So, who's Christianity's real rival? The chaotic pagan faiths, or the Roman Empire's own obsession with control? Academic reference. Historian Edward Gibbon, in The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, 1776, argues Christianity's rise was a cultural earthquake, but paganism's diversity was its Achilles heel. Source: Gibbon, 1776. The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, Volume 2. Here's the contradiction. Christianity offered one God, one truth, eternal life. Paganism? A buffet of gods, rituals, and philosophies, from Mithraism's secret caves to Neoplatonism's lofty ideas. Mithraism, huge with soldiers, promised salvation through a cosmic bull-slaying ritual. Sound familiar? It mimicked Christianity's appeal but lacked a unified story. Meanwhile, the empire's imperial cult demanded worship of the emperor as divine, clashing with Christianity's one true God. Cliffhanger. Enter Julian, a man raised Christian but burning for the old gods. Could he unite this fractured pagan world to topple Christianity? Or was the empire itself his biggest foe? Stay tuned. Part 2, Julian's Pagan Gamble, a Rebel's Plan. Last episode, we saw Julian crowned emperor in 361, hiding his pagan heart in a Christian court. Now he's all in. He declares himself a worshipper of the old gods, shocking Rome. His plan? A pagan revolution. He reopens temples, funds priests, and writes scathing attacks on Christianity, like against the Galileans. He calls Christians Galileans to mock their provincial roots. Bold move, but was it genius or madness? Academic reference. Historian Ammianus Marcellinus, a contemporary of Julian, wrote that his pagan reforms were zealous but impractical, alienating even pagans who liked the status quo. Source: Ammianus Marcellinus, Residential Gestae, Book 25, circa 390 AD. Julian's vision was radical: unify paganism into a single system, like Christianity's church. He wanted pagan priests to act like bishops, temples to rival churches. He even planned to rebuild the Jewish temple in Jerusalem to weaken Christian claims. But here's the contradiction. Christianity thrived on its simplicity: one God, one book, one path. Paganism was a kaleidoscope. Rural folks loved their local deities. Elites like Neoplatonist philosopher Iamblichus saw gods as cosmic ideas, not temple statues. Curiosity loop: Julian's own army, half Christian, half pagan, wasn't sold. Could he really pull this off? And why did some pagans hate his plan as much as Christians did? The empire itself was a wild card. Emperors like Constantius II, Julian's cousin, used Christianity to unify the state. Julian's pagan push threatened that stability. He banned Christians from teaching classical texts, arguing they couldn't honor pagan literature. Christians cried foul, pagans shrugged. The empire's bureaucracy, loyal to power over faith, watched warily. Cliffhanger: Julian's heading for a showdown, not just with Christianity, but with Rome's own machine. What happens when an emperor bets everything on a dying faith? You'll be shocked by what's next. Part 3. The true rival: paganism or empire? Let's cut to the chase. Was Christianity's real enemy in 361 AD the pagan faiths or the Roman Empire itself? Paganism had history, centuries of temples, festivals, and myths. Mithraism's underground shrines rivaled Christian churches for soldiers' loyalty. But paganism was splintered, unable to match Christianity's tight-knit clergy and universal message. The empire, though, was another beast. It demanded loyalty above all, Christian or pagan. Academic reference: modern historian Peter Brown notes in The World of Late Antiquity, 1971, that the empire's pragmatic machinery often trumped religious ideology, absorbing Christianity for control. Source: Brown, P. 1971. The World of Late Antiquity. Here's the contradiction. Christianity clashed with paganism over theology, one God versus many. But it clashed with the empire over power. Christians refused to worship emperors as gods, challenging Rome's core. Julian saw this. He thought paganism could restore Rome's cultural soul, but his reforms, taxing Christians, reviving sacrifices, rattled the empire's stability. Even pagans resisted his top-down, pagan church. X-reference: hypothetical, inspired by posts on Julian. An X-post from @RomanHistoryFan, 2025, claims, Julian's failure wasn't just Christian pushback, pagan aristocrats didn't want his reforms either. Too much change too fast. In 363, Julian led his army into Persia, chasing glory to prove the old god's favor. Spoiler: it didn't go well. He died in battle, just 31, his pagan dream crumbling. Cliffhanger: but what if Julian's death wasn't the end? What was the secret he took to his grave? Stay with us for the final twist. Part 4. Julian's Enigma and Legacy. Julian's death in 363 AD left a question burning. Could he have stopped Christianity? His Against the Galileans survives only in fragments, preserved by Christian critics who mocked it. His last enigma isn't just his failure, it's why he thought paganism could win against Christianity's momentum and the empire's might. Academic reference: historian Susanna Elm, in Sons of Hellenism, 2012, argues Julian's paganism was a philosophical fantasy, too academic for the masses but a bold stand against Christian hegemony. Source: Elm S. 2012. Sons of Hellenism, Fathers of the Church. Here's the truth. Christianity's real rival wasn't paganism or even the empire, it was history's tide. By 380 AD, Emperor Theodosius I made Christianity the state religion with the Edict of Thessalonica. Pagan temples closed, Mithraism vanished. The empire absorbed Christianity, not because of faith, but for control. Julian's pagan endgame failed because paganism couldn't unify and the empire wouldn't bend. Curiosity loop resolved. His secret? Julian believed Rome's soul was pagan, but he misread the empire's pragmatism and Christianity's adaptability. His story, tied to episode 07, shows a man out of time, fighting a war he couldn't win. Call to action. What's your take, visionary or fool? Drop it on X with #Julian's Enigma or in the comments. Our mission is to hit 100,000 subscribers by August 2025 to keep bringing you epic stories like Julian's. We're so close, but we need you. Subscribe, share, and rewatch episode 07 on Julian's Rise. Every view counts toward our goal. help us make history go viral. Next week, we tackle Rome's fall, barbarians, decadence, or something deeper. Don't miss it.
Subscribe and tap the bell icon to walk with us through powerful stories of faith and history. Thumbs up like if this episode touched you. Speech balloon comment to share your thoughts or reflections in comment section.